Footsteps meet on hardwood floors, laughter spilling from the doors. Different tongues but hearts the same, learning life beyond the name. At the International English Cafe, talk your troubles right away, sip your tea and stories play. At the International English Cafe.
Hi, welcome to the call, everyone. My name is Thanh. I'm your host, and this is the International English Cafe. Today's topic is corporate social responsibility and business ethics examples. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through the article from the Harvard Business School Online, HBSO. And then in tandem is a YouTube video that also goes over this. Particularly, we'll focus on the 4 types of corporate social responsibility. And then after that, we'll have business ethic examples based off of those 4 types that we'll use to read through and discuss. First of all, let's go through the article. Hopefully that might help give time for other members to join. So on the screen, I have the first of the 4 types, which is environmental responsibility. So this touches upon a company's kind of feeling for doing things appropriate for the environment. So not only would their bottom line be focusing on their profits, but also for the betterment of the environment as well. So that's essentially the first type. Oh, actually, give me a second. Let me get that link from, here you go. Copy link address. And then we'll post it into the chat. That didn't look right. I think it's just a lot easier if I just did it this way. Here we go. Okay. I posted the link to the article so that you have it at hand, so you can look through it at your own time. Note that the meeting notification also have all the links. So the link to the YouTube, the link to the article, and then the link to the Google Drive document that has the business examples or ethics examples. Let's see. Give me a quick sec to stop sharing screen. Okay, and then reshare the screen. Just going to try to make sure that it also has our faces, or at least our faces on the side. There you go. Okay, so that's kind of overall in terms of the environmental responsibility, right? It's touches upon the a company to also focus on the betterment of the environment, aside from just their profits, right? So, for example, Sriracha is a company that would probably need to do something of the sort, because some of their waste byproducts could be harmful to the environment. So there was a time where, like, I think they dumped their stuff outside their company, which affected the nearby communities. So it made it very hard for them to breathe. It made the soil crap, which ruined their crops. So it led to a negative externality to the community nearby. So the company that made Sriracha needed to do something in order to clean up. That would be kind of an example. Okay, next up, ethical responsibility. So this is regarding kind of like morals within or in operating your business. So things like fair practice, treatment of employees and other stakeholders, things of that sort, right? So making sure that doing things morally in this type of business sense then would help to boost morale and trust, which would then garner you more revenue. Otherwise, you may experience a negative kind of an impact from your customers because they might feel that like you don't really care about them, right? And then they might not want to buy your product and or services. Philanthropic responsibility. So that's kind of like being charitable, right? Philanthropy. So this is kind of a company trying to do things to help out in terms of like donations and or charities out there. So like doing like a food drive, right? Or like a coat drive, things like that, collecting items, especially for this time of year, collecting toys so that you can give to the needy, especially once it gets closer to the Christmas period. And then lastly, economic responsibilities. So the impact in which, maximizing your profits isn't necessarily the end goal because if you're going to do whatever it takes to make money, despite whatever the means may be used, right? That might be something that could be a little bit underhanded. For example, like if you took bribes, right? Then like that's not going to be a good thing. Okay, so overall, those kind of like the four types, and let's get into the video. I'm going to cut the video here so that we don't have anything kind of copyrighted or pinged for our YouTube. So hi, welcome back. Oh, I actually need to do this where stop sharing the screen, and then I need to reshare the screen again without that background sound. Here we go. Okay, there we go. So welcome back. We just played the video. It went over what is social corporate responsibilities and talked about the four different types. So with that, we're going to go next to the business ethics example. So a little bit more engaging, right? I have four different examples. Each of the examples touches upon the four different types of corporate social responsibilities, right? So would anybody like to read the first scenario?
Can I?
Sure, go ahead, IU.
Okay. So I will read the Riverbend factory.
Yes.
Okay. Riverbend Plastic was a rod factory located near a small town. For years, the factory provided jobs and helped the local economy grow. However, to save money, the company secretly dumped chemical and helped the local economy, no, chemical and waste into the nearby river instead of treating it properly. At first, no one noticed a problem, but after several months, fish in the river began to die and the water changed color. Farmers who used the river to water their crops saw their plants fail. Some residents also become sick after drinking the water. When environmental inspectors investigate, they discovered that riverbed plastic had been breaking environmental laws. The company was fined heavily and forced to shut down until it cleaned the river. Many workers lost their job and the town's reputation suffered. The cleanup took years and cost much more than proper waste treatment would have. In the end, the company decision to ignore environmental responsibility harmed the environment, the community, and the company itself.
Good. Okay. Let me scroll up a little bit and there we go. So these are the questions that kind of go with the scenarios. So we don't actually have to stick to all 10 questions, but we can look at them and kind of use them as a way to kind of talk about the scenarios. By the way, welcome to the call, Juan Franco. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you, my friend.
That's good to hear. Okay. Did you jump in time to hear to hear IU read the passage? Okay. Oh, hi Kazuko. Welcome to the call. How are you doing?
Uh, Hi all, I'm fine, thank you.
That's good to
Hi.
hear. Okay. We
Okay.
just went through the article and the YouTube video. Now we're going through the business ethics examples. So in terms of corporate social responsibility, there's four types: environmental, ethical, philanthropic, and economic or economical, right? So the business ethics examples here will kind of go through like the four different types in terms of an example of to kind of give you give an idea. IU just read through the whole passage, but just in case, the passage itself is up here. It's about a factory that did not properly dispose of their waste. And because of that, it led to the environment, the community around itself, and the company itself, having going to ruin, right? So that's kind of like the overall gist of the story. So below are moral discussion questions. We don't actually have to stick to exactly all 10 questions, but we can use this as a way to try to help talk about the scenario. Would anybody like to provide some feedback or thoughts on what they think of the scenarios or of the scenario?
Can I
Go
share
ahead.
my opinion?
Yep, go ahead, IU.
Okay. According to my analysis about this company, Ripper Brand Plastic. Yes, the other side it's kind of like pro and cons with this company, which is when we try to look about the positive way. So many employee they recruit, and then it will be a benefit for the local people who living around the company. So that's the positive way. They have they can have on income because they have a job from this company. But the other side, negative. Of course, that this company already broke the laws, which is probably they have kind of like agreement to the government to take it should be taken of the environment, but they broke that, and then they try to be what is a good looking for the others, but be inside of the company it's really collapse or something like it's not what is that is not good company because they not consider about all the improvement there. And then the effect is kind of like the river, which is the river is one of source for their living, for the local people there. So I think it, yeah, from my side it's both of them really what is must consider about everything, and then the employer also. So we cannot totally adjust this this company that because they did something wrong here, broke the what is the laws, and then what is harmful for the environment around them. That's all from my side. Thank you.
That's good. I like how you like split it up to like the, the good and the bad, or like the pro and the con. Nice. Anybody else like to provide some feedback?
Okay, can I?
Yep, go ahead, Matt.
No, sorry, because yeah, I'm one ordering my God, but yeah. By the way, yeah, my opinion that I think we talk about air pollution and water um, contamination a lot nowadays, and we can hear that in the ocean also have so many plastic tracks who release to outside environment. I think it affects a lot for the atmosphere and also the environment for the communities who live with nearby any companies. And my opinion that that also responsible to company owners, and they should have the system controllable about their activity, because they should know exactly what any chemical they release to outside of environment that will affect to community health after that, and they can get sick after that. And second one, that I think the government, they should have the standard law, and to compulsory to any organization, they should have a lot that standard, because we should release whatever the government they allow. If not, they shouldn't. And that's my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, that's, they were probably aware of of what they were doing. Yeah. So, that's something to kind of think about as well. Okay. Anybody else want to share their thoughts on this scenario regarding, so this is more of an environmental type for our company's responsibility, right? So what are your thoughts for everybody else? And hi, Abdul, welcome to the call. Abdul, we are going through business ethic examples, right? You can see on the screen that there is an example regarding a company that had secretly dumped chemicals in a nearby river, and that led to essentially a lot of problems for their company, for the environment, and for the community surrounding, right? So below are 10 questions. You don't have to answer all those questions. You can just pick one, or just, use that as a way to help give you ideas of what to talk about in terms of commenting on the scenario and what you think. So feel free to jump in if you like, Abdul. Okay. Juan Franco, let's see, did you unmute yourself?
Yes, my friend. For example, in this case, it's very hard to try to solve this situation, but I think it's important try to find the way the balance. No, for example, you close the company, a lot of people lost the work, and the people lost the work, the family not eat. But for example, in this case, the contamination, the environment, it's very important.
Mhm.
I think in my opinion, the only solution for this case is try to define the evolution in the way the this company work, no?
Mm.
For example, I remember one movie, and it's the same problem, but the solution is the company change the production in the company, put new machines in the company, use other other things for the produce the products in this company. I think it's important you try to the find the solution and this problem, and find the other ways you try to the or evolution in the company, no? And the people support this evolution for it's a lot money.
Sounds
And
fair.
try to
Yeah.
the save the rivers, the other things, the trees.
Mhm.
It's very important.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
I would like to add,
Okay, go ahead.
I'm spending my valuable time watching Netflix. And of course, there's a series. One is called Resident. Basically is about people that get injured, and it takes place 99% of the time in the hospital. Now, we're talking about companies that could and do cause problems around towns, cities, and so forth. But I'm relating this to the companies in the United States of America that sell medicine. Okay, in one scenario, one situation, we're hurting the environment, earth, water, air. I get it. But what about all these pharmaceutical companies that charge thousands of dollars for medicine that only lasts 1 month? And people cannot afford it. And in some cases, many cases, they die. You know, we're doing wonderful things with the environment. I get it. And it's good that we're trying to protect people. But on the other hand, in the United States of America, you can't get sick, or you go to the hospital and die because you can't afford the medicine. And of course, that bothers me. Just thought I'd add that.
Okay. Kind of an interesting take on things because it also combines a little bit with the ethical responsibility too. So kind of funny since we're going to segue to that scenario or that type of scenario next. Nice. All right. So one question, right? So regarding this is would have been cheaper if the company actually disposed the waste properly? Or was it okay that, or did they, or do you think that they actually saved money by improperly disposing the waste? What do you guys think? Any particular thoughts? Looks like somebody unmuted themselves. Hi.
Sorry, could you ask that question again?
Okay. So do you think it would have been cheaper if they disposed the chemical waste properly? Or do you think it was cheaper that they disposed the waste improperly the way that they have done? So which way do you think it would have been cheaper? If they did it properly or not properly?
Because I think my opinion that they should dispose in their company, because I think that also small area not affect so much to lost the environment, right? And we think to the big community outside. You can imagine how many thousands people live there. And I think we should think about the community, and we should protect the community life, and that will not take the huge burden for the government after that. And I think the tip from the company, they should have a good solution to solve that problem. I think it's long story. Every government, the compulsory, every country should be follow the standard law in the country. And if they do wrong, and then they have to get a punishment. And we know exactly we have to do right at the first time in the process in our activity, because we know exactly we make the benefit not only us and also for the community as well. So generally, we think to our community health, and that we should protect them. We don't want any cost to get any profit for ourselves. I think that wrong completely. It's not way to do. That's my opinion.
Okay. Those are some good points in there. You talked a lot, quite a bit about the community and even the legal aspect of it, right? Because this is, in a sense, breaking the law. Some good points, right? Does anybody else want to include anything? Do you think it would be cheaper if they did dispose of this chemical waste properly? Or, was it actually cheaper to dispose of the waste not properly? Anybody else have any thoughts?
May I?
Yep, go ahead, Francisco.
Hello. First of all, thank you very much for having me. My name is Francisco. I am from Costa Rica. So, previously, we watched a video where we had information about a corporate social responsibility. So, during this video, we saw the a environmental responsibility from some companies. So we watch that a companies, sorry, I don't want to sound redundant, but we watch that companies, they have a responsibility to protect our environment, the nature. So, but in this case, the Riverbend factory, they did the opposite of this. So I don't think that if they will do things that we think are the correct way, they will save money. They did that. They did the opposite because, of course, they save money on their company to use this to do things that they believe. I mean, they didn't believe that to protect the nature, it will be important to them.
Mhm.
Thank you very much.
Good. Right. So they didn't think that they would save money if they dispose of the waste properly, right? So that's why they did it improperly. Plus two, though, it's this last sentence back down here. The cleanup took years and cost more than the proper waste treatment would have. So in a sense, had they disposed of the waste properly, it would not have cost them so much, right? The cost in this case, the article or the scenario is talking about cleaning up the waste, right? But you can see that there's more to that. So how Matt referred to the economy and the law too, right? So there's going to be costs incurred there. You would have to pay fines because of you're breaking the law. You would incur the wrath of the community because you basically harmed them. Why would they want to buy your products and or services at this point, right? Or why would they even want to work for you? So those are impacts upon what would happen if you don't think about the environment, because it's not just the environment that you're helping to protect, right? This is where we live. So if you come to your house all messed up and all moldy and all disease ridden, do you think you'll be able to stay healthy? Probably not, right? So this is part of the reason why like the environmental aspect is pretty important. You might want to think about how the environmentalists may want to push towards a cleaner environment, but there's a reason why for that, right? Is because this is where we live and we would want some place that is pretty healthy to stay in. Otherwise, why would we want to stay in that area? We should try to move elsewhere, right? But okay, you guys took a good crack at this one. Not bad. So let's try to see about the next example. So I'm going to scroll down. Well, this is going to be a little bit longer, right? But the next example is the silent overtime policy, right? So would anybody like to go next with reading this?
May I?
Go ahead, Francisco.
The silent overtime policy. Bringing Call Solution was a fast-growing customer service company. It advised itself it's a great place to work and often spoken about volunteering, honesty, and teamwork. Many young employees joined the company, excited about the opportunity. As the company grew, managers began asking employees to stay late to finish work, but told them not to record extra hours. They said this was temporary and good for the company. Some workers felt uncomfortable, but they were afraid of losing their jobs. Others believed their company would reward them later. Over time, employees became exhausted and frustrated. Some struggled to pay bills because they were not paid for extra work. A few were respond the practice to a labor agency. After investigation, Britain's solution was found to be violating labor laws. The company was fined and forced to pay back wages. Several managers lost their positions and the company's public image was damaged. Many talented employees left, and Brian Cole struggled to rebuild trust with both workers and customers. In the end, the company's unethical behaviors harmed not only its employees but also its success and reputations.
Nice. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so just like the first scenario, right, we have 10 questions as well for the moral discussion questions. You could pick any one or all of them to use to help you talk about and provide feedback on this. But yeah, what are your feedbacks on this scenario? So this is related to an ethical responsibility, right? So what are your feedbacks?
For example, in this case, I think the one solution is the company pay and the workers, and try to change the laws, the workers, not in the company. I think this is very important. The companies give the workers more facilities for try to live in better conditions.
Mm.
In this case, not pay the work, and I think it's very important. And for other side, you close the company, the workers lose the work and lose your work and lose your money. I think the one solution is the company pay and the workers. Only solution. I don't see other way or other solution in this case.
Yeah. Right, being paid a fair wage, because kind of weird that like you're working in a sense overtime and not being paid for it, right?
Yeah.
Good.
Yes. For example, in this case, in USA, it's important the syndicate. In this case, maybe the syndicate help and the workers or not.
The syndicate, I'm not really sure if there's a syndicate involved, but you know, but in this case, yeah, like the workers were asked to work longer hours and not record their time. So in itself, that does sound kind of strange that that the workers were asked to do so, right? But yeah, interesting to point out. JJ, go ahead. Oh, I think you're on
In
mute.
this,
Okay, there you go.
in the spirit of sharing It's pouring rain here, and it's hard to hear what others are saying. And that's my fault, because I could easily move to a different part of the house. But my point is this. From what little I heard from Juan Franco Garcia, I put together the following. Yes, it's the responsibility of management, workers, new laws that might regulate the way companies get rid of their excess garbage. But here's the point I want to make. What about each and every one of you that work for that company? Now, I'm going to say it in a strong way. It's no reflection on you, but I find talking this way might motivate someone. And this is what I want to say. How many of you right now, yesterday, last year, wrote a letter to your supervisor, CEO of the corporation, highest level of management, and the bottom, in order to make something better? Now, I know you talk. I get it. Everybody talks. And everybody has excuses. They don't listen. They don't have to. But if you put it in writing, at least you have a written statement from you in order to make whatever it is better in your company. And you know what? This is the part where I'm not trying to offend you. People don't do that because they make all kinds of excuses. They don't listen. It serves no purpose. I told my boss, telling them is nothing. You need to write things down and make it official. They still don't have to do anything, but it's written down. And then they also may look at you as, this person cares about the company. And I don't care what it is or what job you have. But the bottom line is, people go from the house to work and back home. You're not being that perfect employee. You can make suggestions. It's okay. And people may appreciate it, and then they could ignore it. That's their right. That's the point I wanted to make. Everyone's talking about corporations doing more. What are you doing? I just go to work, do my job, get my paycheck, and go home. We have a problem.
Very nice. And it kind of actually talks about some of the questions down here. Who is more responsible, right? The managers who ask for the unpaid work, or the employees that are complicit, right? And in this case, if you are complicit, like if you're or complacent, right? What changes is going to happen? Nothing, right? So at least if you, like Joe says, if you put it down in writing, maybe something happened, maybe something not, but at least you're doing something about it, right? And that is important, right? That does speak really well to this ethical example. It's very nice. I like it.
But
I think,
for example,
I
Tang,
apologize for interrupting. Just to share what Tan had said, it made me think of something else. People complain about the environment. You are the government. You are the people that need to start the process. And not only in the environment, but where you work. What are you doing? Well, I told my supervisor. You told him? What? Write it down. I have a suggestion on how to make this corporation better. I'm sorry. Thank you.
and I think I love the way you're talking about between the decision, right? And I love the way your motivation people to do better. But actually, it's tough to answer which case is correct, right? Because it also depends the environment, the law, the regulation from the government, from the company owner, from everything. And also, I don't want to negative thinking of my. But for example, if I have not big voice to talk about that to my supervisor or my company owner, you have to do this, you have to do that, and then the owner they feedback, I will not do everything, and then tomorrow I get a letter for the fire, and how I can protect my family finance. My children store after that. My children no food after that. And what I can choose, right? And I think it also depends case by case. We can cooperate to the company and to do that correct way. But we should have good process, good procedure, good law, good regulation for the company and the government as well. That we should do. If not, we might keep silence. It's just do as our job, our responsibility, and what the supervisor they ask him to do. Just that. I'm sorry to feedback with that tone, but I love your motivation to people, how to protect our earth, how to protect our environment, because the environment is our life. Thank you.
Okay, very nice. Just to give you a heads up, Matt, we're on to the ethical example, but to incorporate the environmental part, that's okay, cool. That's an interesting perspective to consider, right? Because sometimes you do have things at stake that you can't afford to lose. So that does make it a little bit hard, right? But if what you're doing is going to ultimately harm your family anyways, is it worth doing? And that's kind of like some of the questions involved in some of this, right? Because if the extent of what you're doing doesn't seem like it's going to harm your family, and even though it might be considered unethical, maybe you might be willing to do it. But like I said, right, if it's, even if doing it harms your family anyways, is it even worth doing it? It might not be bad just to quit the job and then find a different job that could actually do something that could actually benefit your family. But this is the kind of thing to think about, right? In this type of a scenario, because this is the ethical example, right? So we could delve into a lot of different things with this one. So
But
first,
for example, I'm sorry, Tang.
yep, go ahead.
For
Go ahead.
example, in this text,
Yep.
I think it's one thing important is the culture in the family, no? For example, the culture in the family, the consequence is you have a good ethica and depend on your family or the thing that you need in this moment. But in my opinion, I think the maybe one solution is maybe you learn in your family these things. What is the way you try to find solution in your family, in the problems in your family? Maybe this learn in your family you take in your work. I think the one solution is try to learn very important in your family, and your family give your culture. Maybe the culture is very important. I don't know. This is my opinion.
No, that's fair, right?
Forgive me for interrupting.
Go ahead.
You said did I hear you say? God, it's like a. Did I hear you say? And I could be wrong because it's still raining. You do these things because your family has encouraged you or helped educate you, and that gives you the knowledge to take it one step further. Is that what I heard you say? Something like that?
Yes. I think the culture in your family it's important in your work. Why? You learn and try to find solutions in the company, for example, no, in this case. But do you not have you not find new things for try to solve these problems in your family? In consequence, you're not try to solve these problems in the company.
Yeah.
Maybe
You know,
it's problem the managers, or maybe it's problem the workers. But I think, in my opinion, the one solution is try to learn a lot things in your family.
one, I agree. There is so much that someone may use because they're growing, reading, talking, watching television. We don't know what might turn them on and become that person that writes a letter to the CEO. I mean, it could be a simple person who just thought of it, to a person that has done many, 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 many different things. Now, you brought up a good point, and I just want to make one comment. If I had to think why I am the way that I am, I think a large part has to do with playing tabletop games, chess, checkers, business management, life, Monopoly, thousands of games with my brother and sisters and father and mother. And it's those games that are fun. Games are fun, that's why you play, but it teaches you also how to achieve success. And there's different things you can do in the game that might help you win. Now, is winning, I don't want to get into all this stuff, but it's constantly having fun and trying new ideas. So next time you have more of a chance to win. Now, does that make me write a letter to different people and make suggestions? I mean, I can't say yes, but I can't say no. But the individual, look, people, look, everybody works, and you're a good employee. And just to push and emphasize, you're not doing enough. You're not writing letters. Now the question is, why? Here come the excuses. And I don't make excuses. Do it if there's a concern, a problem, or even something positive. I love the new plants you have at the entrance of our company. It really livened things up. But you don't do that. But you tell your friend.
Cool. All right. So let's get back to the scenario, because I do like how the sub, or like the side topics related to this kind of like the ethical responsibility, right? Like I like how everybody's been incorporating external things. Really nice. So just let's see about wrapping this up, right? So overall, the workers involved in this scenario, right, are young employees, right? So they were excited for the top opportunities. One of the things that was brought up is, what if you have a family, right? So, because with these younger employees in this scenarios, they were worried about losing their job, right? The worst that could happen really for them is that they lose their job, right? So one thing that was kind of brought up was like, what if you have a family, right? So in this case, instead of young employees, let's say you're actually an older employee with a family, with a lot to lose on the line, right? Would you do the same as these young employees, first being afraid and eventually talking about it when the bubble's about to burst, right? Or do you think it would be a lot more easier for you just to harp about the issue right away and trying to get things resolved, right? What do you guys think? What if the employees in this example were actually older instead younger? Do you think the scenario would be different?
If nobody talks, I'll talk.
So if you want, take it away, JJ.
Look, as an individual working for a corporation, company, working, you're evaluating your thoughts all the time. You just don't sit down, write a letter, and send it in. You have to evaluate it. If I write a letter and I make the following suggestions. Will this jeopardize, will it hurt my career? And you're making suggestions and thinking. Look, in any corporation, I think they would love to have people making suggestions to better the corporation or make it realize they're doing something that could change and to help environment. I'm reminded of the United States military. They give you money, a percentage of all the money it saves because of your suggestion. Not bad. Not bad. Look, I always tell this little story, 2-minute story. 2 people work in the corporation. One makes suggestions in writing, the other does their job and goes home. And they're both equal. In other words, they have the same job, basically. And the one that makes suggestions once every 6 months, not all the time, sends it in to management, and management reads it. Now, a new job opened up. Both people are qualified, the 2 that I mentioned before. Who is management going to give it to? The one that makes suggestions to help the corporation, or the one that just goes to work and does the job and goes home? So you're helping yourself. Management understands you care, even though they don't like some of the suggestions. What are you going to do? I'm almost tempted to tell you about the suggestion I wrote to the Vice President of the Republic of the Philippines and what happened. I'm still in shock, but we can save it for another day, another time.
Okay. So how about everybody else? So like, let's say in this scenario, right, for the silent overtime policy, the characters involved, right? So the employees weren't the young employees. What if they were older employees with a family? Do you think they would react the same way that the story goes, or would you think they would react differently? What do you guys think?
And can I talk to,
Yep, go ahead, Matt.
yeah, I totally agree for the improvement, because we looking forward in advance. Tomorrow must be better than today, and that not only one do that. I think everyone on the world, every country, they looking forward that way too. And relate to the situation, I think that's what you should do. We can check if we feel that it can improve better. Only one to relate one that we have to do. We should take that responsible by ourselves.
Yes.
You do with that immediately. Because if we have that good habit, I think after when inside again, because that's a good theory, and it's a good way to. I do remember when I work for the company, and we know exactly every day we can get the complaint from the client about the quality, about the wrong process, and without any good procedure in the company. They ask this, they ask that. And then we consider and how we make for the customer happiness, just that improvement in totally in the company. And then we ask the employees who can have good idea, who can have good solution to solve that problem, because we know exactly client get us the salary, not the company, right? And if we do not that good, we will not have order, we will not have job, and then we will not have salary. And relate to our family, children, relate to our family life after that. So I love to improvement. I love to looking forward to have new one, to make life must be better. Thank you.
Okay. Interesting. Because I think it's still talking about the, what can you do, right? But overall, you did bring it back to the, what is at stake, right? Because in the ethical situation of things, if you do have something at stake, does that prevent you to do things ethically, right? But then that should also beg the question, should you even stay at such a company if the company itself is not going to be ethical, right? So in this case, you could see that the operations of this company wasn't ethical. They were basically asking you to do work for free. Why should you do work for free, right? And eventually the employees did speak up and the company got into trouble. They lost reputation, their success went down, a lot of their employees left because it was unethical, right? And went on to other places instead, right? So this is kind of like the idea of this example, right? For the ethical responsibility of a company, but also too, what are you doing about it as well, right? So if you feel like you can't afford to lose the job for some reason, then think about it a different way. Does this company harm you if you did things unethically, right? So
yeah, we also have the whistleblower. Now, I'm not an expert in every situation when you can use this, but if your company in America is doing something unethical, not correct, you can report them and you're protected by law. Yes, you might lose your job at the beginning, but in the end, if you're correct, you're going to get all that back pay back and more. So you always do things the right way.
yeah.
I mean, if a company is not ethical, then you do what you can to try to make it better.
Hmm.
I mean, there's million situations, if you're old, if you're young, if you're handicapped. I mean, the laws will protect the workers in the United States. Other countries, I can't talk.
Yeah.
So may I?
Okay. Yep. Go ahead, Kazuko.
So in Japan, we have labor inspection office. That's why if we did overtime too much and company didn't pay for the subordinates, we can bring the action to the labor inspection office. Of course, and in my company, once a year or twice, the mother company send each subordinate a mail, individual, and we can report everything, the working environments or job satisfaction. And we can write anything in the mail, and I can get a send back to the mother company. I think it's good point. And basically, in my section, before I will do my overtime, so I must apply for overtime. I must explain to my boss, clarify my job, why I need to work overtime work today, and after boss approve my overtime, then I can do. I think it's
Interesting.
yes. What about another office difference?
Well,
Can I?
I wanted, I'm
Mhm.
sorry, go ahead.
Okay, I would like to sharing about my experience, especially in my office, which is my office is not a profit company. My office is kind of like what is a non-profit company, which is we not reach our to get a profit in what we are doing there. So when we have kind like extra work, and the company, when you apply a job in this company or organization, the human resource, I mean heads and the human and development will announce, will what is this, give you some information with about how many hours you will work every day, so what kind of benefit that you will get, and then what happen when you need extra time to finish all kind of your work. So this is the first that you must get from your before you start your work on this organization or company. If you consider that's no paid, if you have extra work later on, it's mean that consequence from your times. Yeah, that because you cannot manage your work carefully, so in the end you need extra work. So I think this is a consequence for yourself, and that because you are already knows that before you start to work in this organization, you already know the person, how to say that, human and development already inform you that there is no extra money for extra work. So you must consider and try to manage your time carefully.
Nice. That's good contribution too, because it is interesting how they that's kind of like a pushback, right, on their expectations of you and what you need to do. Not really sure how fair it is, but yeah, good point. I mean, so first with Kazuko, I like that there is kind of in a sense, this is like whistleblowing, right? So that's good that there's an avenue for that. So that's pretty cool. In IU's case, how your organization does things in order to provide a kind of restriction, right? So so there's a responsibility that you must own up and do. But it seems like also that this helps to mitigate certain aspects to ensure kind of an ethical way of doing things. Okay, pretty nice feedback. I like that. Like a lot of this is external, but bringing it back to the topic at hand. Very nice of you, everybody. Okay. So just wrapping things up, right? So this is the ethical example or involved. So we went through environmental. This is the ethical one. I have two more, although I don't know if I want to go through the philanthropic one just because I don't think that it might not be as interesting. So I might want to skip down to the last one, which is the economic one. Besides with the philanthropic one, right? It's so empty promises fund. It's kind of like there was donations and then the donations was misused. So that still kind of delves more into the ethical example rather than philanthropic anyways. So I'll skip this scenario and let's go to the last one. So this is the economic one. Would anybody like to read this?
May I?
Okay, go ahead, Fernando or Francisco.
The short-term profit plan. Silverline Electronics was a mind-side electronics company facing strong competition. Waiting to impress investors quickly, the company's leader focused only on short-term profits. They cut spending on product safety testing, reduced employees' training, and used cheaper materials to lower costs. At first, profits increased and investors were pleased. However, within a year, customers began reporting that the products broke easily and sometimes overheated. Several devices were recalled, which cost the company millions of dollars. Lawsuits followed, and trust in the brand declined. Losses follow and the trust in the brand declined. Because of the financial losses, Silver Electronics laid off many employees and closed 2 factories. Local communities that depends on the company suffered job losses and economics decline. Eventually, investors pulled out and the companies filed for bankruptcy.
Nice.
Bankruptcy. In the end, by ignoring economics responsibility and long-term planning, Silver Electronics damaged in business, harms workers, and weakened the community it relied on.
Good. Okay, so overall, this is a company that cut corners with their operation spending, right? And then because of that, they have reduced qualities in their products, which ultimately led to their company declining, right? Because with a product that's not really worth buying, why would anybody want to buy it anymore? Plus, some of their tactics did come to to some legal questions. So hence why some lawsuits were included, right? Overall, the branding declined, and they filed for bankruptcies because they were doing so poorly, right? So that's kind of the situation. I'm gonna scroll a tad bit down. Okay, there you go. So these are the 10 questions for the associated with this, right? Like the other examples, you don't actually have to we don't have to answer all 10 questions. You can pick one, or you can just use this as a way to talk about your feedback on this scenario. So what are your feedbacks on this scenario?
In this case, in my opinion, I think the bad decision the company, they use the cheaper materials. I think the lead in this case, it's very bad decision, and the consequence is produce good device and lose the workers you're employed. Yes, I think in this situation it's problem the company, but the consequence is a lot of people lost the work, have problems in economics in your family, and for example, in this case, maybe exists one problem: the corruption in the company. No,
Could be.
for just the cheaper materials.
That could be one possibility, yes.
No.
Although it doesn't necessarily have to be corruption, right? It could just be bad decision.
Yes, it's bad decision.
Yep. But corruption could be involved, sure. That's an interesting point to put out there. Okay. Anybody else with thoughts?
Can I?
Go ahead. Yep.
Yeah. After I wrote this company, Silver Lion Electronics, which is the company decide to choose. I don't know. This is about the company choose a cheap material, or that like Yuan said, there is a corrupt from the manager replace the product, I mean the material with the cheaper one, that because they want to get some profit from this. So I think it's the scenario is can be yeah, one of them, I mean the manager try to corrupt with these activities from the company. And then the other side, probably the company have a high demand, but they don't have a lot stock for the material. So they replace with the another material, which is sometimes they try to combine it, they mix it, and of course that the quality with this product will be different. That because inside of the material is already replaced with the cheaper one. So I think that's because the manager create the strategy to get a lot benefit, that because they have a lot of demand for this product, but they don't have enough for stock of the material. So that's why they choose this way to get to increase their profit. And then the other way, like, yeah, I mean, first about the corruption. The second about they have a strategy because of they have a high demand, and then the third is about how to say because the manager no I mean, maybe I just only two.
Okay.
The first is what is corruption, and then the second is about the strategy to fulfill of the demand from this product. Thank
Okay.
you.
Very interesting. Technically, neither one of those things were said, but those could be possible examples of what could be pushing this, right? You know, there's although an organization has a best interest for everybody involved, all the stakeholders involved to in a sense make money, right? So that you can all be able to have revenue and survive. There's individuals that work for an organization, and sometimes individuals might have their own thoughts, which could be leading to cases of corruption, maybe, right? Or it could be that there's external factors that maybe applying a lot of pressure to lead an organization to make bad decisions. So those are good points. Like not said in this scenario, right? But those are additional things that you could probably, in a sense, you're deducing this, or you're inferring that these are the probable things that's leading to this. I like that. Nice, right? So you're adding extra content to this. Good job.
May I add, and it's only to help maybe others see the picture. And I know you're educated and you probably understand. But in the early 1970s, I'm on a United States military base in Germany. And we receive a lot of the products from the United States, which in turn gets them from China, because in those days, everything was made in China. And we noticed that the quality of the merchandise products was not up to par. It wasn't good. And being on the military base, my parents could return the products and get the money, which in turn the American store had to send it back to the United States and probably take a loss. Now, one of the things that they did, and this is my point. What happened, Justin? It works? Thank you. I'm sorry. And one of the things that happened, and I'm not an expert, and this is only hearsay, what I heard, is the Americans sent people to the factories in China and observed and checked and made sure they were doing things the correct way. And that means the products had to be a higher quality, material had to be a higher quality, and soon, few years, we did not have to return the merchandise. And I'm throwing this out because it could be a common occurrence, a common practice, something that happens maybe at the beginning of people trying to get more money with less quality products. I remember that, even though it was early 1970s.
Nice.
Anyway.
There are just to put it out there, right? Like there are business models that sells cheap, low quality products, right? And that can be a thing. You know, these are the things that you would sell at the quote unquote dollar store, right? So there is kind of a business for that, but you know, not all businesses are, you know, created towards that kind of way, right? So in this kind of example, definitely, most likely that's not that kind of business to to use these cheaper cheaper materials. But the other things involved wasn't just the cheaper materials, it was the cutting on spending towards product safety testing and the reduction in employee training as well, right? So they were really cutting corners in a lot of realms. So, you know, potential corruption, bad decision making, who knows? But some of the points you guys are making so far, pretty nice. Okay. Any additional thoughts regarding this this scenario? What do you guys think? Go ahead, IU.
Yeah, then that because I'm quite interested with this topic. Yeah, silver line electronic, which is they not consider about the quality of product that because they want to get born with more benefit from this. And from my side about this situation, how to cope about the the quality of the product. If I have this company, then I will not reduce of the quality from the product, but I will try to increase the price of this product. That because they will know that the customer will consider about the material probably will increase time to time. That because it really what is yeah, the material is not always enough when we need it for our product. So I just try to give solution for the manager. Please consider the price. Probably you can, yeah, increase the price a little bit to cope all the material from this product, but you still keep the quality from this product. They will know that the customer will consider about this. And then I think that's from my side, that's one solution. Instead of you try to fulfill of the demand of this product and then try to mix the material with the cheaper one, that because you doesn't want to increase your price. So
Yeah.
I think that's from my side. Thank you.
That is a good you know, take on this, right? So like said, like this is something that's outside of the what the scenario is saying, but I like that, right? Like that's a good thought to have. You know, this is one example of what the company could do. You know, ideally the idea of increasing prices, just the sound of it doesn't sound right, but because you're noting because you're noting the idea that you know, the quality is top notch, right? And you know, just that now the price of the quality just went up, and this is something that the customers can understand. See, so that's a good way to market that too. Very nice. I like that.
So may I?
Go ahead, Costco.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
thank you. So it depends on the company, of course, but I think company need to give the subordinates, all subordinate, something education. and whole employees must step up together. It's very beneficial way to making money in the future. And the company can can show off the society a good reputation. Maybe. And my company gave us the education, for example, cyber security. And we take that time almost 30 minutes or 1 hour in our office. And individual we can take because our company send a mail and fix the materials to run cyber security. And sometimes the laptop must version up, and that's why the office subordinates must do version up the level. So by myself. And if I have question, I can ask the IT section and solve the problem. It means I can do version up my laptop by myself. So, and I can learn something from my office. It's very, I think it's my benefit from our company. It's interesting. What about Tan, your company? Your company gave to subordinates some education?
Training is a must. So
Mm.
it's training would be in the form of on-the-job training, standard work, right? We even go into things like lean methodology, right? In terms of continuous improvement, type of learning. So we'll have lessons learned on top of that and be able to then update our standard work to make things either lean, more efficient, or more safe, right?
Mhm.
To incorporate lots of things to ensure that the work is done pretty smoothly, safely, and to the benefit of all stakeholders, right? So I like the topic of the continuous improvement. So this is something that if you're going to get me going, I'll probably save this for the latter half of our call, and then I'll just lecture you guys on all of this. But until then, I want to at least keep to this, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. Hey, Ha, were you able to read through this?
Hello.
Hi, Ha.
Hello.
Were you able to read through the passage?
Yes, I can read the passage. I am reading on it.
Okay. I'll give you a little bit more time to read through it. Okay. So far, just to go over what everybody has said for this particular scenario, I like that there's a possibility of corruption, right? That could be inferred. Nice, right? There's mentioning of just bad decision making. There's mentioning of the external pressure that could have led the company to make these decisions to cut on product safety training and the reduction of employee training and the cheaper materials, right? So, there's also references and or anecdotes about your personal lives and your experiences on this. I like. Very good input, everybody. Let's see. So for me, right, if I was to talk about this, you can see that the cutting of these corners, sure, the immediate, like, because like they said, the focus was on short-term profits. So there are businesses out there that do focus on short-term profits and do well in that kind of realm, right? Like, for example, like a pop-up store, right? They pop up the store for a brief period of time, they sell products quickly, and then they're out of there, right? And they move to somewhere else. So, for example, in the US, selling fireworks, there are some areas in which they allow for the selling of fireworks. There are some states that don't allow you to have that don't allow you to sell fireworks or even have fireworks, right? But then the other states that they do, you can take care of IU. For the states that they do, right? They usually have like a pop-up store. They sell their fireworks, and then once that period of time goes, then they go away, right? Because usually for fireworks, it's sold around Independence Day. So after Independence Day, there's not really a use to sell fireworks anymore. Nobody's not really going to buy them because you would have already used them for Independence Day. So once that period of Independence Day go away, then not many people are going to buy those fireworks. So then they move up their pop-up store elsewhere, right? And they don't sell it anymore. And then once Independence Day comes back, then they sell the fireworks again because everybody wants the fireworks, right? Like, so that's kind of like an example of what that kind of would be like for a short-term profit. Now, if they use cheaper materials for those fireworks, and if those fireworks weren't safe, then yeah, that would incur lots of legal situations that those vendors might not want to be in, right? But those are the kind of like, that's kind of like what this is kind of getting at, right? It's like this company is focusing on short-term profits, and their thing is that, okay, they're going to cut corners just so they can get that profit, but it's not a business model that works in their favor in this kind of situation, because it then led to negative branding, right? So trust in the brand declined. When the brand declines, then which customers would even trust in wanting to buy those products and or services, right? Not a lot. They might as well go to the competitor instead. And then your business is going to be at a loss not because of the cost involved, but because you're not able to generate the revenue now, right? It's thinking about it is where is money coming from and where is money going to, right? Those are good questions to ask in terms of business, because if you're not getting money coming into the company, there's something you might need to do about that. Otherwise, your business is going to go down. Likewise, too, where's your money going to? Well, if you're not spending that money properly to regulate your business, then that also could be a problem as well, right? So, this is kind of like the whole entire realm of the economic responsibility. Okay, were you able to read the whole thing, and if so, do you have any thoughts?
All right, hello. Hope you have a very how to say it, enjoyful discussion. I'm sorry to join it late. I will share some thoughts about it, and I also listen to you talking about business model, and I think this is a company for the making doing business. I think it doesn't matter. In the case here, it is a middle-sized company, right? And I think for when it comes to doing business, most of uh, employer or the companies would focus on main profits, making profits, try to make more money, try to get much profits as much possible, and to make a balance. When we go too further about profits, and then we forget about how the quality of products. And I think the most important thing is about the quality of products that we need to focus. So when the quality of products is good, and they will get more customers instead of cutting on product safety testing, which make the quality of products worse. I think that would not good. So in this case, I think the company focus too much on making more money for the company, so they forget about the focusing the quality of the products and the staff, employees, or some policy, for policies for I mean the good benefits for the employees. So yeah, I think that is the reasons why the company will go down by the end. I think to make to maintain a company, I mean to maintain a business, so the most important thing is the products, the quality of the products. So should not cutting to save the cost by all cost. So instead of focusing too much on making money, they try to find the way to make the product better, so to get more impression from the investors. Yeah, that's what my point.
Okay. Pretty nice. So like you have a lot of emphasis on the quality of the product, right?
So let me say one example.
Go ahead.
Well, actually, it's not about technology company. It's in terms of education.
No worries. Go ahead.
Well, so let's say like the English center that I used to work for in Vietnam. So it is considered a big English center because the owner of the center has several centers in Vietnam and in some provinces, and they try to open more and more centers in different areas, and then they forget about how to make students better. They forget about students, and they just try to get more students and leave it to teachers, and then they forget about uh, to the have training more for the teachers and take care of the students. They have big more students, but the quality compared to other
like a small class, which are not really good. So I think when it comes on business, in terms of the person who, I mean the owner, they will think more benefits for the business. And in some way, when we make more money and you want to have more, right? We want to have more and more because we are human beings and we are very greedy. We want to have more.
Oh,
So in some way we forget about it. Yeah. So I think it's hard to make balance, but we still need to like anh Thanh also get like we have to get ethnic, right? Ethnic work in the companies. I don't know how to pronounce this word. I Yeah, so let's see about making a profit mm, and the quality need to be on the same time. I mean, yeah,
good.
ethical, yeah,
Ethical
business ethical,
or
yeah.
business
Like,
ethics. Yep.
yeah, that's what I want to say. Like for some factories, like they try to make more products and sell, but they forget to protect the environment. They need to also see have some system and like making money, but we still need to have be ethic business. That's the uh, environmental responsibility.
Yeah, you were talking about the environmental part, right? Here you go. Oh, hi, welcome to the call, Lynn.
That's
But then there's
okay.
also the ethical one, right? Philanthropic, which is in a sense charity, right? And then economic. So we went through the article earlier, but yeah. So
Okay.
nice that you're touching upon it.
Yeah, I see.
Okay. By the way, hi Lynn, Linda, I think. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I just got home from the class.
Cool. Uh, we basically kind of went through most of the meeting already. So um, I I don't know
It's
if
the
you
end, right? It's the end.
well, not really because there's a part two to my meeting. So did you so the topic today is corporate social responsibility. We're talking about the four types of responsibility, which is environmental
Okay.
here, right? So this talks about um, an organization being responsible and thinking about and considering the environment when they're doing their business, right? So like think about the environmental impact. Second is ethical responsibility, right? So this delves into the way an organization functions and are they doing things ethically? Is there some sort of like moral way of them conducting their business? Next up is philanthropic. So this delves into kind of like the charity aspect involved, what they're doing to help support the community, right? And then lastly, economic, which deals in the way they use their, I guess, their finances and how responsible they are in that respect towards the CSR or corporate social responsibility. So we went through examples. So there's 4 different types of scenarios that I posted about. I'll just post this in the chat. I don't really expect you, Linda, to really delve into this. But what we'll do for the second part is we can just talk about this and or anything else that we like. So hope you don't mind if I kind of like start to cut this short, because as we're not short, but just cut through this because we're getting towards the end of at least the main portion of the topic. But okay.
Keep going.
Yep. So overall, does anybody have any questions for this part, right? Like, or any thoughts, additional thoughts on the economic responsibility aspect of things? Yep. So take care. And
You too.
if anything, I call meeting adjourned, and bye.
Thank you. Bye, John. 맞다니.
Matane. And click.
Words collide like fiddles hum, every accent's welcome some. Round the table, dreams are shared, across the world and love is aired. At the International English Cafe, talk your troubles right away, sip your tea, let stories play. At the International English Cafe, we don't need no passport stamp, just a cozy corner lamp. Face to face we find a way, in a little cafe day after day. Maps and charts might trace the globe, but here we spin our own wardrobe. Patchwork lives with thread we weave, stories told when you believe. At the International English Cafe, words align like fiddles hum. At the International English Cafe, words collide like fiddles hum, every accent's welcome some. Round a table, dreams are shared, across the world and love is aired. Our love is aired, across the world and love is aired. Across the world and love is aired. English Cafe, we don't need no passport stamp, just a cozy corner lamp. Face to face we find a way, in a little cafe day after day. Maps and charts might trace the globe, but here we spin our own wardrobe. Here's your face, we find the way, in a little cafe day after day after day. Maps and charts might trace the globe, but here we spin our own wardrobe. But here we spin our own wardrobe. But here we spin our own wardrobe. Patchwork little cafe day. Hey, accent charts might trace the globe. We don't need no passport stamp, just a cozy corner lamp. Face to face we find the way, in a little cafe day after day. Maps and charts might trace the globe, but here we spin our own wardrobe. But here we spin our own wardrobe. Patchwork lives with thread we weave.